Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to today's Water Cooler Chat, where we talk about all things Livepeer, whether it's delegating, broadcasting, orchestrating, transcoding, or anything to do with the Livepeer network. We're here to ask questions and get answers. So today we have a Q&A session ahead of us, as well as a demo from Carl. So I would like to welcome up Carl to the stage here. And Carl, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and, yeah, kind of a quick overview of what you've been working on?
Yeah, so I'm the author of the ultra low latency video components, which were originally kind of put together for Decentraland. Um, and we've recently added support for Livepeer. So I'd be happy to show to invite people to actually go into a Decentraland scene. I've got a little one up and running and have a go, have a look and see, and you can have a look and see the latency. Because there'll be a little clock on there as well on the video screen. So you'll be able to judge the latency and have a look. I thought I would also, one thing that might be interesting to people is talk a little bit, just for maybe 2 minutes, about the challenges and the differences between developing a video component for the web, for a web page, and developing a video component for the metaverse, because there's some interesting differences. So I thought I could highlight some of those to make it a bit more interesting as well.
That's a really good
So
start. Yeah, let's start off with that,
yeah.
and then yeah, I think in a couple of minutes let's jump into the demo. So yeah, tell us about your challenges.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, well, first of all, what the components are. So it's basically what's called a 3D texture, a video texture. And one of the problems with the metaverse and a lot of the kind of legacy video protocols is that they operate on a high latency. So what these components do is they bring in WebRTC stack, kind of as a first-class citizen, into the video architecture of the different metaverses, starting with Decentraland. So basically, it's a video screen, a 3D video screen with a video on. They run in they're built for the software developers kit. So for people who actually are making the 3D worlds and the 3D lands within the metaverse, and they can add video screen. It will show video. It has very low latency. So it's pretty cool. And the reason that I got onto developing these is because I had an idea for a very interesting scene that was kind of very interactive, and I met the problem of a 15-second latency on the video components, and that kind of stopped me from doing what I wanted. So instead of stopping, I addressed the problem and built these components. So um, when we're working and displaying video in the metaverse, there are some challenges, such as you're working in a high resource intensive environment because it's a 3D world and 3D rendering is expensive, right? So you've got to be super efficient with the video rendering. Um, and you've also got the challenge of what in most applications, even today, they tend to be engineered. If you think YouTube and any kind of video application, they tend to be engineered so that you only ever are looking at one video at a time. You're only ever playing one video at a time because video is so resource intensive, right? I don't know if you realize that, but generally in video applications, they're usually engineered that way. So if you're scrolling through Twitter, I remember when Twitter used to play videos as you scrolled, it would turn as you scrolled along your kind of different threads and things in Twitter, it would pause. Yeah.
Carl, can I stop you there for a sec? What you're saying is actually quite profound, and actually using the demo privately, I reached out to you and we did a demo. I think actually a lot of what you're saying would give more context if we did the demo, because what you're saying
Yeah.
is profound, but if you haven't used the demo, it's hard to understand kind of what you're saying because it's
Sure.
you have something visual in front of you. So would you be would now I think now would be a good time to try it out. Is it ready?
It is. It's up. So let's.
So what I'm going to do is why don't you post the link in the Discord chat, and for anyone who's on a desktop or laptop, I believe I'm not sure. Would this work on a mobile device?
No, it's desktop only.
Yeah. So for those of you that are in this call on a computer, head over to the top right. You'll see the chat menu, and go ahead and click on Carl's link that he just posted. And what we're gonna do is we're all gonna basically come together in the metaverse and try out this app. Now, what was also what was the link to the website where you can test the time? You can see the time, the real time
Yeah,
of the video. Do you have that as well?
it's time.is. I'll just put that on there as well.
Time.im.
Time.is.
Oh,
I logged into Decentraland for the first time earlier, and this page is not loading. Do I need to disconnect my other session that I have with Decentraland to do this? Because
it will take a
it's
while
not
to
loading
load.
for me.
Like it will take a long time to load.
Okay.
It will
Okay.
it will likely eventually load, but it will take a long time.
Well, I guess there's really no reason for me to keep the other one open. I just made just logged on as a guest, trying to prepare for this to see what Decentraland really is. So I'm going to shut those down.
I also believe this is not on the Decentraland servers.
Okay.
This is
there we go. That made it load immediately when I stopped the other one. So if anyone's having a slow time and they're logged into Decentraland, maybe log out.
Okay, so for those of you watching the live stream or the recording, yeah, I just have the video of us running around. So my name is, what's my name? I'm guest. I don't know how to check my guest name. I'm guest 0000. Is that how I'm showing up? Anyway,
I don't see you, but you could be here.
there's 4 other people in here walking around. Who else is in here?
I'm in here. I'm 36 C7. Oh, would you say you were 3330?
No, that's someone else.
Oh,
Mine shows a 00.
Here as well.
How do you check your?
Yeah, Titan, go jump on the little white block, and we can know which one you are.
Okay, here I'm on the main block now.
Oh, I see you jumping up there.
B43A.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so, all right. So how many of us are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, I was on top of someone.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am.
We're all the same avatars. It's kind of funny. Okay, Carl, are you with us?
Yeah.
Why don't you go
So
ahead?
you should be able to.
Oh yes.
Can you see a white block? You
Yeah.
can see the white block.
Yeah.
So if you click on the white block, it should be the video.
Okay, there's the live stream. So for those of you who don't, just go up and click on the block, and come step out onto the grass so that the sound is off. If you're standing in there, you're probably gonna hear it. But if you stand over here, you'll be able to hear Discord better. So yeah. Okay, so what we're seeing, what I'm seeing on my screen is.
Wait, how do you tap on the block? You just click on it?
Yeah, left click. It gives you the instruction. You just walk up to it and interact.
It shows how much of a gamer I am. I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Just,
okay, but
just go up and click on the block.
Yeah, I am. Nothing's happening.
Okay, interesting.
I pressed E on the block.
I do now at least see it says interact. But
maybe there's too many people.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, so like I said,
it worked. Thank you, Eli.
There you go. You can go up and press E on the block, and then if you stand on the grass, the sound will turn off, just in case you find it distracting. So, okay, so what we're seeing here is we're seeing a live stream, where we're at 18:39, so 15 hours, 18 minutes, and so this is a real time. And if we head over to what is it called? Time.is, you'll see that it's 54, 55, and we're about a 2-second delay right now. Oh, let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, we got about a 2-second delay on my screen. So yeah, it's pretty close to real time. And yeah, this is a live stream in the metaverse. So Carl, are you in here with us?
No, I'm not. Just because I'm streaming as well from here, so I haven't actually gone in there just so that you get the maximum.
Wonderful. So I can say
Is
for
this a smooth playing video for everyone else? I'm just seeing like it just looks like still images.
if you're on
Yes,
the
it
grass,
is.
no, if you're on the grass,
I'm on
it's
the
not
grass.
smooth.
Oh,
If you
so
go
like
into the
back.
area, it's smooth.
Yeah, this is a feature.
Ah,
So what happens is if you step off the land, it throttles. This is because you could have a video playing on your neighbor's plot, on the neighbor land. So whenever you kind of step off the land, the audio turns off and it throttles. So to get the full experience of the video,
Yeah,
you have to
no,
step on
I
the
stepped
land.
off because Titan said step off and you won't hear it, so I stepped off. But I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was going to.
I think you
affect
can
the,
mute it
playback.
within. If you hit escape, how do you mute in this game?
Eli.
Yeah, where's Eli? He's a Decentraland master.
Not a clue. I'm playing on a different computer that I don't have the headphones on.
Yeah, so okay, so what I'm seeing, for those of you who are watching, yeah, if you stand here, the video is running smoothly, and you have a real-time video, and if you stand off the block, your video, it's using less bandwidth. Is that the goal behind that, Carl?
Yeah. When you step off, because there could be what we're seeing here is one plot of land, but you could be in an area where there's like lots of plots of land and lots of videos playing, right? Just in a case where you're at an event or something. So when you step off the land, it throttles the video so that you can pay your attention to another video in the area, kind of thing. So that's a feature. But to see it in its without it being throttled, you step on the land.
Right. Let's see. How do I? There we go. So I would say that. Yeah. So it's quite ingenious. So we have how many of us in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of us and 8 of us in here. Is that kind of what you were trying to get to? And oh, is there another person? About 8, maybe 9 of us in here. Is that the goal you were trying to reach, Carl? Did we successfully achieve this demo? Is there anything you want us to do for your load testing that would help out?
Yeah, what I would like is for people to drop a note in the chat as to what that operating system is, what browser they're using, and the latency that they're seeing. That would help me.
Right. So I'm going to turn mine back on.
Do you want us to just drop it in the
I would drop it
which chat do you
in
want
the
us to drop it in?
Discord. Yeah. What we'll do is we've kind of seen the demo now. I'm gonna actually exit out of Decentraland because it's a little distracting, and then we're gonna get into the nuts and bolts of it. But this helps give just some clarity on what you're talking about as we continue on through the conversation. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and log out. What I found interesting though, Carl, just real quick feedback. If I run out of the scene, like if I go far enough away that it disappears, because I'm in a plot that's much further away. When I come back, the video is not playing, and when I click on the interact button again on the block, it doesn't start back up.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
This is something I'm aware of. This is
Yeah.
on the. This is something that will be fixed. With another provider that I have this working with, that works. With Livepeer, it's a little bit different in the way Livepeer works, so we're working on that.
Right. Cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna exit out of this, and then I'm gonna head back to the water cooler chat. And then, if you can, in the water cooler chat, go ahead and drop your information. So I'm on Windows 10 Brave browser. And what did you want? You wanted the latency in the browser and the OS?
OS browser and latency would help. Yeah.
There we go. Cool. Okay, so yeah, Windows 10 Brave browser, 2-second delay. Ah, Papa Bear's on the exact same. See, Papa Bear knows what's up.
I was thinking that as soon as I saw you type that. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what's up. We're on the same way. We speak the same language. I don't know if it's a good language, but hey, we're here.
We understand each other.
We understand. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Let's jump into some of the technicals, Carl. Why don't you tell us? So now what we've seen is we've seen a video in the metaverse using WebRTC with Livepeer, and 9 of us standing around watching a very close to real time, basically a real time video in the metaverse. So tell us again those challenges you ran into of rendering 3D.
Yeah.
Tell us about the real time aspect of what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. So the idea is to support WebRTC to a level where we could actually protocol itself and the system and how it's built into these metaverses is that it will support the ultra low latency up to like 200 milliseconds. I've definitely seen 500 milliseconds, so that it's really kind of almost live. WebRTC supports that, so what we're doing is bringing WebRTC into the metaverse ecosystem so that it's all kind of working low latency. And then it's really all of the other differences in when you're developing this kind of component in the metaverse is due to the fact that in the real Decentraland, you wouldn't just have one plot, you'd have many plots, and you could be running through the world. So videos are loading and stopping as kind of resources are created and destroyed as you kind of run through the metaverse world. And you could have video on your own land, and then your neighbor could have video playing as well. That would be 2 video streams, and 2 video streams starts to get a bit heavy for a lot of computers. And certainly if it was like 5 or 6 videos in the neighborhood, so we've got to be able to throttle. So what you're seeing there is when you step off the land, you're seeing it kind of auto throttle the video that's on the land that if you're on the land and stepped on the land, it plays with its full capability. And if you step off, it will throttle. It will turn down the frame rate very low.
So obviously that's turning down the frame rate. What is throttling it? Is that something that you have to do? Like what part of the stack is doing the throttling?
So the throttle is done in the buffer, so that the video is still arriving on the desktop machine, but it's about how many times we then read that buffer and refresh into the world. So that slows right down in order to free up lots of resources.
Right.
So if you step off one, sorry, go on.
I was just saying, so you're still receiving the full frame rate, the full bit rate of the video. It's just not rendering fully on the browser.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
And then if you step on another piece of land that has video on it, then that will be being rendered.
So you could say like then the need for transcoding on these types of systems is pretty crucial, because you might need to really, like, if you have 2 or 3 people playing video within a single square, you need to really downgrade the bit rate, the internet bandwidth of those 3 videos, right? You would need to 240p or something very small in order to keep a stable connection. Otherwise you're stuck with 3 HD videos coming in and it'd blow up your internet connection.
That's interesting actually, because the way the architecture works is we're aware of all the other WebRTC videos that are being loaded. And so we can do things like resource manage across multiple videos.
Very interesting. Could almost, I don't know if you could, but like upgrade or downgrade the bit rate depending on how far away you are from it or how large it is to your perspective on your screen.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Or even pause videos that you can't see completely, or stop videos that you can't see, or videos that are far away. Because what the metaverse is doing is it's loading several plots of land in kind of in each of your directions. So behind you, in front of you, and to your sides, it's loading several plots of land. And videos aren't that popular in the metaverse, but if you do get into an area where there's lots of video, it can affect performance. So resource management's been a big thing in this. And then there's also ease of use. So basically, this is just one line of code in the SDK if you're actually writing a scene, and you just specify that you create a real-time video texture. You tell it the play ID. Is it play ID? The quantity? Stream ID. And then you're using Livepeer, and then it will connect to the Livepeer system and load that particular video. So it's kind of just like one line of code. So that makes it very, very easy to use and easy for people to incorporate video into scenes. We're also working on smart items, which are kind of 3D objects that you just drop in. It will be like a video screen or a cinema screen, that sort of thing. You just drop it in and it like automatically works. So that's cool. And that's it really.
So
That's kind of the.
I'd like to ask you just a few questions about your experience with Livepeer, because I went through your project. It looks like you've been working on this for quite a while with Decentraland, and I can't remember the exact date, but WebRTC was only introduced into Livepeer not that long ago. Anyone know when that was introduced, or into Livepeer Studio, I should say? But yeah, what were you trying to use before using Livepeer, or did you come straight to Livepeer, and how has that experience been?
Yeah, so we used Ant Media before. So there's kind of like a driver model in the components. So it can use different WebRTC servers. It's like an abstraction that allows multiple ones to be used. I found that integrating with Ant Media to be a lot more complicated than with Livepeer. Once I kind of had a little bit of a steer from your support guys, Chase mainly, it was fairly easy actually to integrate to get it up and running.
Well,
So that was good.
that's a pleasant response. Yeah, easy to integrate. What more do you want?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just working out how to reload the video live when it's when it if it stops and starts and things. So that's one.
Right, because you have to be able to.
As you quick, if you run away from the land and run back, it needs to restart. So it's doing that. It supports all that. I've just got to work out the integration part with Livepeer to do that.
Do you want
So
the video to
that's one.
automatically restart as soon as you can see the plot, or do you want them to interact with the block again?
We want to follow basically what Decentraland's kind of um, standard kind of reference client does, which is as soon as it kind of creates that plot of land, it loads the video. So if it's kind of within view, it will load the video, although it will be throttled until you stand on the land. So that's
Right.
how Decentraland's kind of reference client works. So we are sticking with that, and we'll follow what they're doing with their other videos, their high latency videos.
But when you say throttled, they're still receiving the full video. It's just not rendering in the browser, right? Or do you want to
Yeah,
throttle
again,
the actual internet connect, like, you know, like aim for lower bit rates and, like, you know, try and reduce the actual connectivity itself?
it's a, it's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, I think that would be probably ideal.
I wonder. I wonder if
I'm
Livepeer, like, because I wonder if Livepeer Studio could do that, where it says, you know, using some sort of hook or flag or something, you could say, "Hey, don't actually send me 30 frames per second. Just send me 5 frames per second until I tell you to switch it up or something." I don't know if that's even
until I
possible.
get near. Well, yeah, we could kind of like. I think that's going to be needed. That sort of thing eventually.
Yeah, because
But you've got to be careful as well because you don't want too much processing to be done between the source and the destination. Because this needs to be, the idea is that this is ultra low latency. So I don't, with WebRTC, we don't use things like CDNs and stuff like this because they slow down the stream.
right, right. Hmm. Yeah, but you
So
could easily
it's a fine
start.
balance.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
So what we're doing, so what we're doing now is following the best practices that Decentraland are using for their high latency video, and just following the same model and the same way that works.
Right. Right. So, because,
But let's see
you know, I can
if it's
imagine.
if
Go ahead.
I was going to say if people want to use video on intensively throughout Decentraland, then something different. I don't even know how that would work. You, you'd start it would it could be very resource intensive. So
Reminds me of
what tends to happen is video isn't that popular. It is for certain events, obviously, in certain applications, but not on every piece of land.
right. It reminds me of, like, when you go to Las Vegas and you go to those live betting rooms with, you know, 50 TVs on the wall and there's, you know, there's lounges, and, you know, you know, put that in the metaverse, and so you need to, you know, be able to render 50 different little tiny screens within the metaverse, and so, you know, that would be a pretty big feat to be able to do that. Resource, light, and being able to do it through real time and resource, like, non-intensive, right, in a way. It's a pretty big, you know, probably wouldn't start
Yeah,
with that use case, but yeah, it's interesting.
I know if you read the Decentraland documentation, for example, they do specifically say one video per plot of land.
Okay, right, so that's the limitation they've put up right now.
Well, but there are workarounds because what you can do is you can take a video, you can divide it into grids, and then you can render just a part of the video. So you're actually only playing one video in the background, but you're showing like a segment of that video. Do you see what I mean? So you have like a mosaic of videos,
All within
one
one
stream,
video.
all within one video, and then you render just part of it on each of your 3D objects, and then in that particular world, in that on that particular land, you can have multiple videos, and it's only streaming one video in, and you can display multiple ones across your. I've not tried that yet, but I know that it's something that has been tried in Decentraland, certain events. So it is possible.
Oh, fascinating.
It's all
Right.
exciting stuff. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there, and I feel like, yeah, the 3D world brings extra challenges because, like you said, it's not just rendering it on someone's screen where, hey, you can load it and manipulate it and choose what you want, but you're in this 3D world where you have to consider so many more aspects how this gets rendered and
Yeah.
what people want to look at, and then the technical challenges around that. So it's an interesting challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what I'd like to do now is open up to the floor a little bit. Does anyone in the community have any questions about what Carl just said, or about the demo itself? Anybody at all? Did anyone not get into the metaverse? Did everyone get in? Or did somebody fail or attempt to get in and didn't successfully get in? Sounds like everyone got in. We had like 8 of us in there. So anyway, well, not many questions about it. I think that's been a good thing. So tell us a little bit more. Tell us what are some topics or areas that we haven't covered so far that you'd like to cover?
I guess that's everything really. In terms of video stuff.
Yeah. What are the next steps for pushing this up to, you know, production, Decentraland, and getting it going?
One thing that we're doing is we're going to be writing some documentation and doing some test scenes and things, and having that included in Decentraland's documentation. Perhaps you can add something to Livepeer as well on your side. That's one of the steps, and then continuing to talk with the Decentraland team. Yeah, that's kind of like the next stages. And then of course the other really exciting part is widening this out to other metaverses, and trying to build it into some of the other, so that kind of Livepeer then could be supported across multiple metaverses. That's probably interesting to people.
So what are other metaverses that you think would fit the bill?
Well, I've kind of asked Livepeer for a list of who they would be most interested in looking at integrating with. So I think there's a short list being put together. Hans is looking into that for me.
Oh, very cool. Is this
Yeah.
something that can be integrated into something like, you know, Unreal Engine or Unity or any of these like game developer engines, or is this more for, you know, these decentralized Web3 ecosystems?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because this is Unity based.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
already
Decentraland is
right.
Unity based. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So are these what you're building is for Decentraland, or could you you know, bring this to the greater Unity builder community and provide it as some sort of plugin or something?
Well, I think the focus is on the metaverses. Um, I think, I don't know if there's actually a WebRTC there in Unity. They certainly have the technology, because they do things like render streaming and things like this in Unity. But it doesn't quite work the way this works. This is kind of metaverse specific, really, because of some of the unique issues that I've talked about.
Right. Of course. So when it comes to building this, you know, funding is an important part of being able to motivate developers to integrate these things. I noticed that you had won a live, or not a Livepeer, sorry, a Decentraland grant for this. How is the are you looking for funding? Are you looking for help? What are your plans going forward? Like, yeah, are you just independent, doing this for fun? Are you looking for compensation? What motivates you?
Well, I was originally motivated by wanting the technology myself, so I could create the experiences that I had in mind. That's what motivated me initially. And yeah, it was originally funded by Decentraland. And I also do have a grant from Livepeer to put the Livepeer support in. So there's a small grant there as well. And let's see. I mean, that's why it's interesting to see which other metaverses that Livepeer might want to integrate into, and kind of like look at how that can be done going forward.
Yeah, that's definitely a good opportunity, and I know that the Livepeer Innovators DAO, when we do a retroactive round, make sure you apply for retroactive funding for what you've built, because yeah, if you can drive demand to the network, then you deserve ownership via LPT tokens in the Livepeer ecosystem. So that's how we reward people developing on this platform as well.
That's cool. It'll be interesting to try and track the number of people that are using this, and see if it is driving traffic to the Livepeer network. That'd be interesting to do.
Well, it's also interesting too, because in the metaverse, you might end up with these live streams or these video assets that are in hidden parts of the world where people are, not, it's maybe not as popular. You might have only one viewer, or in fact, Decentraland, most plots are empty, right? So you have this, you might have these video assets, so whether they're live streams or recordings or whatever, that are it's no one actually watching them, but they're still being live streamed. And so I think maybe even the cost benefit of Livepeer might help that, where it's not a huge expense to have these assets live and available for when people do want to use them.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. So, when it comes to Livepeer Studio, again, I don't know when it was released. Did you try and use Livepeer? Like, how long has a Livepeer been integrated into this project? Has it been months? Has it been from the beginning, like a year ago, or has it been quite recently?
Very recently.
Yeah.
Very recently. I mean, this was working about 4 weeks ago. Was when I kind of got it up and running. I didn't know actually that WebRTC was so new in Livepeer Studio. It works pretty well though. Works well.
Like, from my recollection, it's only been a few months that WebRTC has been available via Livepeer Studio. So
that's cool.
You're
Cool.
one of the first users of it, building with it. So really cool to see that adoption.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's good information. I thought you must have had it for a while.
No, I believe it's pretty soon. With that being said, does anyone know if the WebRTC usage in Livepeer Studio uses the transcoding network? Remember seeing that when they first put it in, it was just the source file, the source that was being available through WebRTC, or is WebRTC now supporting all the bit rates? Does anyone know this?
Hey, I believe that the transcoded bit rates are available for the fallback off of WebRTC if the browser's not supported, or if the quality of connection is too low, it degrades to HLS, and the transcoded bit rates are available. I don't think there's WebRTC based like ultra low latency rendition switching right now.
Right. So what we're seeing in that metaverse is the source file being delivered through WebRTC.
Yeah, I think the WebRTC delivery protocols like automatically degrade the quality, so it can deliver enough bits based on the connection speed.
Oh, is that how that works? Okay. Cool. Well, I really liked the demo. I thought that was really cool to see. Carl, any last comments or things you want to mention before you head out? Or
Well, just thank you everyone for giving me all the test data. That's great because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I've got quite a few more test results, and it seems like everybody was able to see the video. Nobody's really said they couldn't, so that's good. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that.
Very cool.
Thank you.
And what can we do to support you going forward?
I'm talking to Hans for anything that I need, so I'll probably just continue to go through. He's kind of my point of contact, I think, in Livepeer, so I'll continue to. I've been bothering him for this list of metaverses that would be good to support next. So I'll keep going to Hans as my point of contact.
Very cool. Right on. Well, Carl, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your day to come and do a demo for us. And yeah, we just appreciate you building and yeah, showing us really cool, innovative stuff that's being built in the metaverse. So yeah, we congratulate you on the success you've achieved so far. And if you have any questions or need some support, please reach out to the community and we'll be able to do what we can to help you.
Awesome.
So yeah, thanks for coming out.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Right on.
Cheers.
So, what we'll do is we'll just continue on to your Carl. You're more than welcome to stick around for the rest of the water cooler chat, where we're going to go through the rest of the topics that we had. Yeah. So, the first topic is the Livepeer Innovators DAO meeting. I think the last one was 2 weeks ago. So, and we did it on the Tuesday following the Monday's water cooler. So, I think we'll do that again. I know it's a bit short notice, but I think we should do a Livepeer Innovators DAO meeting tomorrow at the same time, so 3 p.m. Eastern time. For the people that are here that are in the DAO, does that work for them? Well, what I'll do is I'll just post it.
I should be able to make it, but I think in general it's better to give a little bit more notice so that we get a better turnout.
Yeah, that's good feedback. Why don't we do it for next Tuesday then? I think a week heads up is...
that may work better for me. I'm traveling this week, but I'll try to make it whenever it is.
Yeah, I think people that missed it last week were pretty upset. They actually wanted to come, which is like very flattering. So maybe we'll give everyone at least a week heads up. That's a good idea. Okay, next Tuesday we'll plan it. Great. The next question we had was around Papa Bear. Your question around fast verification. Do you want to bring it up? And yeah, what was your topic?
Well, I think I mean, I was just curious to know what the state of fast verification was on Livepeer network. Are we using it? And if so, what are we checking with it? That's the question in a nutshell.
Well, I know Brad is in the audience. He has the tester going, but he tried the full verification. It was quite slow. Brad, does your tester run fast verification? Is fast verification like a default, or is it not? There he is. We pulled him up.
All right, can you guys hear me? Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't run the fast verification that you're talking about. There is a verification function on the broadcaster but it really just checks like pixel counts and stuff. So it's just there's two different types. The fast verification is kind of like I don't even know how to explain it, to be honest. It's kind of a hashing type function that tries to, indicate that the work was done as expected. Just through like the GPUs and stuff. But the local verification that I was running by default on the broadcasters is just a different, kind of like it decodes it and checks a few things type deal, if that makes sense.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but like checks what? What is it checking for?
Like the pixel counts and stuff match up.
So like if you requested like say 3 renditions that the renditions that came back are the correct resolution?
Yeah, that's the extent of what I can remember. I haven't looked at it in a while because I turned it off.
Okay. Because yeah, I was just curious. Like, it was actually triggered by a comment that Hunter made. I forgot where, I forgot when, but something about how uh, demand had increased, and that was also accounting for that illegal content had been decreased. And then I was wondering, I was assuming that meant like soccer and things like that that were being streamed through the network. And then I was just wondering how that's detected, and that's kind of where I brought just the thought into my head. I was like,
Yeah, I don't think
so
the
I didn't know.
fast verification algorithm has anything to do with the content detection. Like if it's soccer streaming or copyrighted content, that's not what the verification algorithms would be about. They're more about, as Brad was saying, like using like probabilistic perceptual hashing to give you a high confidence that the video, that like the transcoded rendition of the video is actually a representation of the source, and it's not like someone just swapped out blank pixels or some other video that they'd already recorded to just return to you. So the broadcast can get a high enough degree of confidence that yes, this is likely the same video. It hasn't been maliciously modified. I can play this for my users.
Okay, well then that actually leads me to or what you commented on. So how does it work that, like, illegal content is how is that, like, how does Studio deal with that? Like, how does what do they have in place to um, combat that or recognize it or?
Yeah, the biggest hammer that they have is essentially just responding to like legal takedown requests. So there's all these, it's almost like outsourced to third parties by default, because there's all these services on the web that content rights holders will use to just automatically send out um, notifications if their content can be detected as um, being shared and streamed. And so those notices will come in, and then the studio team has a process by which it will through Studio kill those streams. Right, that's not being done at the network level. Where I do think it gets more interesting is that there were a bunch of proofs of concept in live code that can be pretty effective at just automatically detecting soccer. We say soccer because that was actually always the most common example. That's where all the abuse was occurring. And so there was even some apps that were piloting automated workflows where they would get like a webhook notification if there was soccer being streamed through their platform. It hasn't really been productized. I don't know if that was a cost-effective workflow for them to add in that automation, but it's certainly something that like can and should be sort of on my like job type abstraction roadmap. I think content detection should be a job or a service that node operators can offer. And then if broadcast nodes want that service, they could pay additional for it because it does take more compute. I think that would be interesting.
Okay, so okay, so it's currently it's dealt with after the fact because either the rights holder has notified you and then it's a takedown. It's not a proactive. Oh, we
Yeah, I
detected
don't know.
something
I don't
or
know if the
anything like
studio
that.
team, they might be running some proactive monitoring because again, we had that running for one user at some point. Yeah, I don't know if that's in their workflow at the moment.
Okay, yeah, no, it was something that just all of a sudden I was like, wait, how does that even work? 'Cause I mean, I know there was a lot of testing done around different types of verification, and then I remember the talking of when I first joined, a lot of talk about content detection. So I just didn't know if what the status was and if Studio had implemented it in any way. So
Yeah, I think those are
it's
two different tracks, right? Verification, like proving the transcoding was done correctly or not. That can happen whether the stream is legal or
right.
illegal. And then yeah, content detection is a whole different, it's more on like the AI-based compute track, which is what sorts of processing can we do on video that people want for different
Yeah,
purposes.
no, and actually I was asking really two different things, and I combined them into one because part of was also what Hunter posted earlier in the orchestrator thing about uh, potentially requiring orchestrators to or verification to make sure our orchestrators are running the latest software so that we provide the highest quality. And I was wondering just if there any of the any other types of verification that are in place or that could be in place could be used to detect that, because I don't know that just having the the version number that someone's running would be enough, because there would be times where like for example over a couple days ago, when you're talking about lowering the ticket EV, and Brad made a build for me to run to do some extra logging in it, so I was like running a modified version of the Livepeer Stalker build, but to do some extra logging. So I don't know, would that be triggered as like, oh, you're not running the actual release, the release that we gave, that we put out, so that that would, there could be use cases where it's beneficial to allow people to run modified versions of the software, but obviously it also, you have to be careful not to let people run maliciously modified versions as well. So
Totally. Yeah.
I was just kind of trying to think of a solution that would support or allow for both use cases, where we're trying to help the network and test things, and then also stop people from, I don't know, changing settings that for whatever reason may degrade the network.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what the like perceptual hashing for the actual verification stuff is about. It's like, yeah, anyone can change the code on the node that they're running that has it perform some sort of malicious job, but what's the level of quality assurance you want to do? We want a high probability that who's ever perceiving this video perceives it to be the same video as was intended, even if you can't really check whether the bits are exactly right, because there is no such thing as like exactly right when it comes to GPU transcoding and all these different pieces of hardware.
Yeah, I guess my point really was that I guess it wouldn't work just to check to see like what version are you running,
Yeah.
may not tell the whole story. And yeah, I don't have a solution for it. It was just kind of just random thoughts in my head and trying to think of making sure that like we still allow for Brad and the builders to contribute open source stuff and let us run it and test it and do stuff with it, where without us being I guess could potentially do it all on testnet, but there's something
You don't
about
want to, you don't want to get slashed for malicious behavior or like kicked out of the orchestrator
yeah,
selection.
not when I'm trying to help and like run like a different ticket EVs and stuff like that, to make sure things are going to work before they get pushed out publicly. So yeah, I wouldn't want to get slapped for trying to help out.
Yeah, definitely agree.
All right, well, it gives me a little bit better idea of just kind of where also the state of the network as far as some stuff I wasn't too sure about. So that pretty much answers my questions I had. I don't know if anyone else has anything else.
No, I think that's about it for that.
Thanks. Thanks, Doug.
Right on. Doug, do you want to quickly update us on your topics around Delta? Any updates around Delta? Thoughts, comments you'd like to make on it?
It might be more interesting to discuss like next week, because tomorrow or Wednesday, I'm just going to share a post that's sort of suggesting the process that applicants to Delta would go through in order to, build support for and publicize their proposals. Just like the way, in regular Livepeer governance, we have the LIP process, which is pretty heavyweight, right? It's not so trivial to take something from idea to proposal, but it's there to gain consensus and to make sure things have technical rigor and all that. I think for the Delta Treasury proposals, we don't need a process that's that heavy, but people still should have some social norms. Like, you should probably do a forum post. You should probably hold an open call or two to get feedback. You should probably form your idea into a well-formed proposal that has specific elements before you bring it to a vote. Here's how you would tag all the orchestrators when the voting is going to go live, so that they know there's a live vote, right? These sorts of things. Nothing mind-blowing in there, but just want to sort of lay out social process for discussion. And then, and by the way, I think the the Innovators DAO has, without any guidance, followed many of the steps in that suggested process already. So off to a good start. That's it. If people want to discuss that a little bit now, we can, but I'll have a short post on it coming out in the next couple of days.
Right on. I'm excited to read it. And the last topic is around the EV ticket change that's happening. There's a little bit of a thread there where Livepeer Inc. broadcasters are going to be, I guess, decreasing the ticket EV so that, EV, so we get more tickets frequently. I think we're aiming around 1 ticket per segment. Does anyone have any comments on that?
I mean, I don't really have any comments, but I did do some testing with it over the weekend, and if anyone has questions, I can probably answer them.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think it's going to impact us much other than maybe some more CPU usage of redeeming and checking tickets. But so I'm not sure where the cutoff becomes, where it becomes too cumbersome and then it becomes like a GPU bottleneck. But from what I've seen, I don't think CPU is much of a in demand item when transcoding in general.
It doesn't use a lot of CPU power. In the past, I mean, I had tried it when I had actually tried what the originally proposed ticket EV was just by chance. I don't know, a year and a half ago, and I was getting like like 3.5 million tickets a day on a node that normally got 3,500 tickets. So it was obviously a substantial increase in the number of tickets, and it was slowing down the transcode time. But I mean, it's still no CPU spiking, but it's still a lot of tickets to process. I mean, it was at that level. So it's the new amount is like 10 times that amount, which means you get 10 times fewer tickets than I was getting when I originally just happened to randomly test the proposed amount. I'm seeing the processing time, roughly in the 2 millisecond range for the number of tickets that are for Brad's tests, which are I mean, I would say slightly higher than probably what the average workload would be if you take like all different considerations of 480p's and then 1080p kind of jobs. So those were giving about 3 tickets per segment, and that will vary depending on the workload. So it does, from my understanding, it does slow down each segment the amount of time it takes to process the tickets because it waits for the tickets to be processed before it will encode transcode the stream. So there will be a slowdown, but it's not really so much because of the CPU. I think it's just it's an extra step in the transcoding process pipeline.
Right. Oh, there we go. Sounds like it's not too big of a deal. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So just a reminder to all orchestrators to update their either deploy the latest release or add the flag for ticket EV so you continue getting streams. All right. Well, with that being said, we've covered all our topics for today, and as well as our Q&A session. So yeah, we'll go ahead and end it there. Thank you everyone for joining for this week's Water Cooler Chat. It was great to see the demo and some interesting stuff going on. So yeah, thanks for being here and making Livepeer the world's open video infrastructure. We will see you all next week. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.